Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, popularly known as Vince McMahon of the WWE, is facing a claim for punitive and compensatory damages after a series of shocking claims were made against him in a lawsuit filed on the 25th of January 2024 by Janelle Grant. For those of you who are not aware, Janelle Grant is a former employee of WWE, and she has filed this lawsuit in a federal court in Connecticut. Now, there is a whole lot of issues in this lawsuit, and McMahon is facing no criminal charges as at now, although federal investigations are ongoing. But given how lengthy the lawsuit details are, I've gone through and I've narrowed them down to 10 key issues that are captured in this lawsuit. And these 10 issues are actually 10 bombshells. 10 bombshells that are indicated in this lawsuit filed against Vince McMahon of the WWE. Now, by the time we are done, I would want you to tell me what you think Vince McMahon's chances are of escaping this one, or what you think Janelle Grant's chances are of seeing this to the end and getting the justice she's seeking for. I am personally disgusted by the things I've seen in the lawsuit as having been done against Janelle Grant. And if they are true, I'm hoping that the law takes its due course. So we get into this 10 bombshells and we see how Janelle Grant alleges she was treated by Vince McMahon and other key people in the WWE during her tenure of employment with them, which started in 2019. Now, the first bombshell is the increasing lack of boundaries. Now, according to Janelle Grant's lawsuit, she is alleging that Vince McMahon dangled career-making and life-changing promises in front of her, and in several meetings, Vince McMahon actually approached and greeted her in his underwear. Yeah, I'll go through all the bombshells with you and then I'll react on each of them. Or better still, I'll react on each of them as we go through. I think that'll be better. Now, on this, when I read this, I felt so disgusted. Because if this is true, how do you do this and why? Is it a way of him getting off? Is it that he feels all powerful getting to have her in that situation? Or is it a very deep-seated, twisted, sick fetish of his that he feels she's the right candidate for him to perpetrate against? I don't understand it. You are the mogul of WWE. How do you take this young lady, seemingly vulnerable, invite her for meetings, dangling career-making and life-changing promises in front of her, and at such meetings, you are coming to her and greeting her wearing your underwear? And in addition to that, she alleges he also made some inappropriate touches on her and repeatedly asked her to give him hugs. Now, if you're a lady watching this, if you don't mind, let us know if you are facing this in your workplace. I have said this and I'll say it again. I detest these things at the workplace. How some men feel that by virtue of having to work with women in organizations, they can take advantage of them sexually. I am really against it, and I'm hoping organizations set up. If this is true, I'm hoping WWE at the end of this case would also catch some heat, because they being a powerhouse as they are, if they catch some heat based on whether this is true, I think other organizations will learn from it. I think it's about time we start holding organizations who do not protect their staff from such harassments and make sure that they also take some responsibility and are held accountable when these things play out under their watch, especially if it happens on their premises. Now, it also claims that Vince McMahon also extensively shared intimate details of his personal life with Janelle Grant. That is the first bombshell now summed up. Now, the second bombshell is that the lawsuit is claiming that Vincent Kennedy McMahon, or Vince McMahon of the WWE, shared videos of Janelle Grant with other men. Now, bear in mind, these are not just any videos. These are intimately explicit videos and images of Janelle Grant with other men. Now, these other men include WWE production staff and, according to the lawsuit, a world-famous athlete and former UFC heavyweight champion with whom the WWE was actively trying to sign to a new contract. Now, it even goes on to say that this so-called athlete said he liked what he saw. Now, per this description, people are concluding that it's Brock Lesnar, although he hasn't been explicitly named in the lawsuit by his name. But per this description, I'm also struggling not to see why it's not Brock Lesnar, because I've seen the WWE roster and I don't think anyone else fits this description other than Brock Lesnar. Now, the third bombshell is an act of defecation. And this is very depraved. Now, according to the lawsuit, Janelle Grant alleges that Vince McMahon did this to her during a threesome on the 9th of May 2020. And that even by so doing, he was still coercing her and insisting she continues to make other men comfortable while he, Vince McMahon, went to take a shower. Janelle Grant continues to talk about the fact that this happened for 90 minutes. And this takes me back to what I was talking about. It seems, if this is true, then it seems that this guy probably had some twisted fetish, and when he got the power and the money, he felt he could do it to women and get away with it because he has some money. I don't know what it is with the rich and powerful. Let me say some of the rich and powerful. It seems when they get the money, they think they can get away with everything. And they begin to treat people in the most bad ways. Now, the fourth bombshell has to do with some really, really serious text messages which were allegedly sent by Vince McMahon to Janelle Grant. The court documents actually include screenshots of images allegedly sent from McMahon to Grant, where, for example, on the 11th of May 2020, a long message appears to show Vince McMahon actually detailing out a fantasy he had, where he was writing about the prospect of an intimacy between a group of men and Janelle Grant, while she would sort of be tied up. Now, I just don't get it. In as much as I'm trying to break this down and analyze it, I'm struggling because I don't know what is going on in this guy's head. I don't know. And for what? He's married. He has kids. His kids are, I think some of them might be at about the age of Janelle Grant, or maybe be older than her. So why do you do this? You have a daughter. If somebody is doing this to her, how do you feel? You know, I think that it's important that people don't lose themselves and their conscience when they get successful, because I think that is when these demonic things come out. All this is assuming what Janelle Grant said is true. If it turns out not to be true, all this analysis is just baseless. So this is on the assumption that what she's saying is true. And how do you do this? How do you do this? Now, the fifth bombshell has to do with Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis allegedly forcing her to do things even against her will when she verbally insists, by they saying that her saying no means yes. That is one of the most annoying things that I hear some guys do. It really annoys me. If a lady says no, no means no. Now, according to the court documents, Janelle Grant alleges that Vince McMahon and his former WWE head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis, intimately assaulted her in Laurinaitis' office at the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Now, she went on to detail the fact that the office door was locked and these two men sort of cornered her, and when she begged them to stop, they were insisting that they will not listen because her saying no means she's saying yes. Now, if she says no and you interpret it as yes, then if she says yes, are you going to interpret it as no? No, they will still interpret it as yes. So it means either way, they are going to force themselves to do whatever they want to do with her. And it's so annoying. In as much as these guys are old men, you see them behaving like they are some high school boys. And like I said, all this analysis is based off the assumption that if what Janelle Grant's lawsuit is saying is true. Now, the sixth bombshell is that Janelle Grant is detailing in the lawsuit that she was also told to make explicit content for a WWE star. Now, it goes on to talk about the fact that on the 12th of July 2021, Vince McMahon ordered Janelle Grant to create a personalized, intimate content for an unnamed WWE star. After he had then shared the photos with this so-called WWE star, Vince McMahon allegedly said that this wrestler liked what he saw. Now, 2 weeks after that, Vince McMahon is said to have flown this WWE superstar to Connecticut for what he told Grant was a business dinner. But it turns out that it was also scheduled to be an intimate encounter in Vincent McMahon's condo. Fortunately for Janelle Grant, however, the wrestler did not engage because he was too intoxicated and he was taken back to his plane and he went away. Now, the seventh bombshell is that Janelle Grant, as a result of all these treatments, suffered various injuries, obviously. And I think the physical injuries do not even cut it. What about the emotional injuries, the psychological injuries, amongst others? Now, the eighth bombshell is that Janelle Grant was also threatened. And the whole thing feels so wrong. You do this or you lose your job. You do that or you lose your job. And the ninth bombshell is that Grant had to succumb to an NDA pressure. This came up when, in 2022, January, Vincent McMahon's wife, by name Linda, allegedly discovered the relationship between Vincent McMahon and Janelle Grant. And at this point, McMahon told Janelle Grant that her time with WWE was over and that he wanted her to sign an NDA to ensure her silence on all these things pertaining to his personal misconduct for a fee of $3 million, which he paid $1 million and failed to pay the rest, and now we are where we are. The final bombshell, that's the 10th one, came out when Vincent McMahon allegedly attempted to even traffic Janelle Grant to another WWE star. And this was after she had even left WWE. He was still trying to manipulate her to that extent. She claims that Vincent McMahon attempted to traffic her to a WWE star who would be in New York for a live event and a TV taping in March of 2020. Now, these 10 bombshells sort of sum up the lawsuit filed by Janelle Grant against Vincent McMahon and the WWE, amongst other employees. What do you think of them? In fact, what do you think of all these things that are playing out? Do you think that it's a unique case in WWE, or you think this is probably happening in other organizations as well? Where do you live? Which country are you in? So let's have a conversation in the comment section about how some of these things are playing out in your various locations. Subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Turn on post notifications. I'll catch you on the next one.